pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First meeting of the new year, election of president, vice president. Take nomination for president. I'll nominate Jeremy Overton.
I'll second that nomination.
Any other? All right, all in favor for Jeremy to be president, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Sure.
Take your name plate with you, Jay.
I feel like I'm leaving the out.
Yeah.
I like that. Just nothing else. Open the floor for nomination for vice president. Nominate Craig Wood. Any other nominations?
I move the nomination to be closed and the be barred by acclamation.
There's a second. Second. All in favor of Craig Wood for vice president?
Aye.
Opposed?
You really hooked a good one, I'll tell you.
All right, Judge Craig and Judge Meter back.
Good morning. We have 2 or 3 issues to talk about. First of all, overtime for both offices. I know you guys cut that out. We have to by law. I think I gave you all some paperwork from the legal counsel here about a year ago that shows that we don't have a choice about going overtime first versus the other method that we used for all those years. We have to have overtime for our court reporters in particular. Now, at this very moment, some of them are working from home. Don't be mistaken. We actually have computers that are actually doing work. It's not just saying they're working from home. They're actually working from home now. And I don't have in front of me how much in the last month or two, speaking from my court, we had a lot of overtime. It's either that or come here and get another court reporter right away instead of waiting. So we have to have that option too. We don't have a choice. So we need the council to reinstate the overtime lines for courts, so that if it's necessary, which unfortunately often is right now, we have that option to pay that. So that's the first thing that we need to take on.
What's the dollar figure, Judge?
I don't have it in front of me, what it was in the budget. I mean, we didn't change it. I don't think we changed it from previous years. It just.
Your budget, you put 2,000 on overtime, but then you put 9,000 on court reporter expense. So I don't know if that's where you were planning on paying the overtime from. I would say that 10 in each department would be plenty. But that's, I think.
We're gonna need an additional, is that what there's going to move it, is what we're saying.
You're gonna have an additional.
Obviously, when it goes is when we need it, but we don't know when we need it like that. I don't know here.
Can't find that down.
Can't play. And at some point, I mean, we were busy enough that we had to have it during the slowdown. So, at some point, everybody's vaccinated, things start going back to normal, whatever the hell that works. If we were having that much work then, we're going to get a lot busier. Part of that has to do with, some of it has to do obviously with the amount of cases we have, a lot of it has to do for all the good things about our system that allows the whole state to communicate with each other. Odyssey, it adds a lot of additional responsibilities on court reporters. It just takes a lot more to do all that information input. So, we don't have a choice.
And Wendy, was there just the 2 lines in the budget 36, line 17? That's That's the only overtime I.
That's the only overtime I saw, yes. And then there's one in 36,
And they're both zero right now.
and they're both 0 right now. Like I said, I'm not sure what you put the court reporter expense
I
as.
was saying a court, or a room full of people that I don't remember.
Yeah, I know, I thought maybe you wanted to pay court reporter overtime for that, so. And that was 9 and the overtime was 2, so
Well, I mean, almost, if not all, almost all our overtime.
is for court reporters,
So that
yes.
really makes sense. I don't even think we had anybody else.
Yeah, I've not seen any.
So, do I have someone who's going to make a motion that we add back to each of the 2 judges' budgets overtime? Primarily not exclusive to the court reporters. That's what-
Thoughts? Well, that's what, I was just looking here, like, for 2020 through June, there's only like $1,286 overtime. And,
Well, most of that was probably, after, I think we had a lot in the last half of the year.
Yeah, they did.
then like,
I think I didn't switch over until, if you're looking at my budget, I'm not even, I don't remember when I switched.
you only had
over.
17, you only had $717.
But we were still doing, I didn't realize, I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know that we had to do overtime first, only given the option to do it the other way. We had it backwards. In
His-
Superior Court, I think they were doing it by circuit bit.
Right.
And so I came here sometime last year.
Yeah, yours
So my
actually
numbers
did.
are, you can't go by my numbers because I didn't get it fixed like I should have until sometime last year. So, and then I'll have in front of it, if you look at what kind of overtime we were paying out in Superior Court, it was, I know there's a lot in the latter part of the year.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, I don't have
He
that.
didn't actually start paying overtime until after your meeting in March. Judge Craig didn't.
Okay.
So, and then they were on shutdown.
Right.
So that's not gonna be any, and then I know one of his court reporters averages 10 hours, usually 10 plus a pay.
Overtime.
And that's just one, and he has 3,
Four
4 court, and Judge Craig had, or Judge Mead has 2, 3 now. So,
So I guess we really need, unless you just told us that I was looking for numbers and all that, I mean, we don't have anything to really gauge as to what's an appropriate amount, because it's all kind of changed.
do you want me to go back and look?
Yeah, so I mean, that, whether it's today or for next meeting, you know, just to pick a number, say $10,000, I don't know that it's necessary to do that, but you've
Okay.
got history that you can say that based on the second half of 2020 projected to be for the full year at this amount for each of those budgets.
You want me to go back right now and get it?
It's up to
I
you,
think-
this can wait till next month, I mean, it doesn't matter to me.
Want me to go back and get it, Rob? Okay. I'm gonna leave my purse in.
I guess we wanted to.
I'll
Good number, it's fine.
Yeah.
We had it all year last
All
year.
right, the other thing that I have to talk about, and Judge Mead, I'm gonna step in after that, some of the other things that- is that when we created the pretrial services positions, and you, I think most all of you remember how that occurred, that's not necessarily something that we set out to do, to create this whole new department, but we responded to the requirements placed upon us by the Supreme Court. So we have 3 people in that position, we're still not doing it, as will be required at some point. We have to, every single person arrested at some point in the future has to be evaluated and what you would consider to be tracked, okay? Right now, we're just doing people that bond out, and we still have 3 people down there doing that much work. When we created that position, the Supreme Court considers this, although they have not done this yet, we're probably gonna talk about it in our board of directors meeting this week. They consider it basically the equivalent of a probation department, right? It's the same thing, they're doing the same thing just from a different angle. Probation is post-conviction, pretrial services is well, they may or may not be convicted, but it's, you know, they're, because they're innocent until proven guilty, but nonetheless, I would say pre-conviction, I want to say. but they have the same or similar responsibilities, including the people that run those programs. From now on, anybody we have to hire has to have a bachelor's degree or above. There was a short window, very short window, where you could grandfather people in. Beyond that, they have to have a bachelor's degree. So that shows that the Supreme Court considers that the same as a probation department position. You're gonna have to have that kind of education. So when we created that position and we hired Bree in that job, we came to you all and said, Judge Mead and I talked about first about what's appropriate in terms of the salary. And we come to you all and basically said, if you remember, that we're gonna start off at a lower level here than maybe what we would ask for, but in return, we're gonna all agree that this position is the equivalent of a probation officer position, at least the director's position, and not the other. We didn't do that with the assistants in there, but we did that with the director position. And we said from this point forward, that we're going to treat that the same, and so every year, there's a probation salary schedule that comes out, right? And it says, here's what somebody with this year's experience gets paid. And so we all agree to that, and I understand how it happened, I'm not trying to sound bad, but the very first budget that comes along, after we all agree to that, you guys didn't do that. And while I should have asked for more money in the first place for that position, because I feared this was gonna happen. So what I believe that you all have the responsibility to do is that you need to go back and change that to what we all agreed to when we created this position. And I really think it should be all the positions down there, because this is what the state's going to hopefully force on you, is that these positions, this kind of requirement for education, these types of responsibilities. But that's not our agreement here between us, but our agreement was that the director position be treated that way. And so now, at the very first budget, it wasn't done. I don't know if it was done, because I understand you guys are under budget crunch, I don't know if it was because of that, I don't know if it was just an oversight or whatever it was, but I think that we have a responsibility to adjust that position, because that was our agreement. So I'm asking that for the pretrial services director position, that salary be increased to match the number of years of experience she has based upon the salary schedule for a probation officer. And I think that's a few thousand, it's a significant difference, it's a couple $1,000, I think. What it is.
Jeremy,
Yes, Bill.
I don't want to put a complete chill on this meeting. Now, we're talking about operations, new and additional overtime and like this. I want to talk about money. Our tax base is in a mumbo jumbo. We don't quite know where it is at this point. We've had and are having a lot of write-offs in our personal tax base, tax base that supplies the funds or the base for the funds that we use through taxing and collection. Let me start, this is gonna take a little while, but we need to
I have to
learn
back to court.
right now.
I've got to go.
I need to act on the agenda.
If you want to do that, I need to go ahead and step out.
You don't wanna hear this now?
It's not that I want to hear it, I got people waiting in court.
I've got a lot to talk about here,
I have to go, so.
and it's all money, and why we don't have enough to do all these things.
Bill, I'll give you a few minutes later in the meeting.
All right,
So I'm sorry about this, not that I want to hear you, I just have to get back. I'm sure
I'll give it to
Bill
the
needs
newspaper.
So I'm asking that, I think both judges are asking that we.
I'm not spotting you out, I wanna talk to everybody about where we are right now.
We can get a YouTube channel for that. Let's do business today. What is the salary that's currently set at?
Well,
This is
I don't have
pre-trial,
it in front of me, but it's the pretrial services.
three,
Okay, yes.
42,243.
And what's still yet?
What I don't have in front of me, I should have in front of me, is what is the salary schedule What does the salary schedule say for a probation officer now with 1 year more experience than she had last year? And so, when you just put your back on the hot seat here.
I brought it.
We're talking about Bree's position.
Uh-huh.
So what we're asking is that she go back on the probation salary schedule instead of getting, so that she would go 1 year more than what she had last year, salary would be, so she was based on 2 years experience last year, it'd be 3 years this year. And that moves up on the probation department, salary schedule by X number of dollars, which is more than what it was.
You put her in at 48, 628.
So that's, the number I put in on that budget would have been what she should be paid based upon the salary schedule of probation. That's what we're asking to be paid for that position, and that, we reaffirm that that position is, and not the others, from this point forward, consider the probation officer position and the pay be based upon the probation salary schedule. Which is not anything I'm asking anything we can already talk about and agree to the position.
The probation officer salaries are set by the state,
Yes,
but this position is not.
this position is not yet, it will be because of the requirements, the educational requirements and the responsibilities. But what I'm saying is, that's why I'm not coming to you and asking you to pay those other positions based upon the probation schedule, being assistants. Okay, that'll happen sometime.
Do they have CEU requirements also?
They have all those requirements. But what I am asking is the director to pay that, because that was our agreement. Even though it's not required by law yet, that was our agreement. That's why we asked for a lower salary, giving her time to build up. And based upon the type of position it is, the qualifications, the responsibilities are all, you're just talking, basically you're talking pre-trial or post-conviction, or probation officers. Otherwise. In some regards, they will eventually have responsibility over more people than the probation officer, because probation only has people that are convicted and put on probation. These individuals, which have less people in the department by over half, will be responsible at some point, as we build up, to have contact with every single person arrested, which is many more people. Some people don't. Some people get deferrals to their conviction. Some people don't. They get time served. Some people go to prison. There's all kinds of other things that happen besides probation. So these individuals on the front end will eventually have to deal with everything.
I remember talking about it, I do remember that you brought it up, I don't remember ever agreeing I remember that's what you requested, I don't remember if we agreed that that's the way we would go. I'm not saying we did or didn't. My problem with myself is paying the salary that we pay, that state doesn't pay us for. But they set the salary. It's the same with probation, but that's set by law, we have no control over it. That is my main issue. That
And the fact that you don't want to up that rate.
yeah, and I'm not
This is
saying,
why I should have asked for about $10,000 or more for the position that was created, because I afraid this was going to happen. Frankly. Okay? I don't know what the minutes said, but I can tell you that my understanding and my discussion with you all was that this position really should be all of them. But this position, at least, the director position, would be treated exactly the same as a probation, because of the responsibility, because of all of the requirements. That's why we have to go lower. That's why we went ahead and agreed. Jeff and I talked about it. We went ahead and asked for a lower salary. What I should have done is I should have asked for $60,000 or more up front, because I figured this is what would happen. This is what happened when I was a prosecutor with prosecutors, deputy prosecutors. We're going to lose prosecutors again here pretty soon. I'm already telling you, the ones getting ready to go probably, because we get every once in a while, we get it moved up, and then somebody that has to have 4 years of college, and 3 years of law school, and pass the bar, and keep all the requirements up, aren't keeping up with, the cost of living. So how you got, this is exactly the same thing I had down there, and so this is why I should have asked for $60,000 for this position.
Let me speak on this for a minute. I'm on this committee, the Street Trial Services Committee, and been a part of law enforcement for over 17 years. Probation department, like Judge Mead said, just to put it in layman terms, only deals with the people that are convicted. What's our conviction rate? I don't know. Let's just say it's 80%. It may be higher than that. I really don't know. Pretrial services is 100% of every single person that's incarcerated in our system, that's summoned into our system. And I can see the amount of work that Bree is having to do because I'm on the email chain, I'm on the committee. I don't disagree with the raise. So
Got a motion?
I'll make a motion that we adjust the salary to the appropriate level.
I don't disagree with the raise. That's not what I'm saying. I don't want it tied directly to a position or to a salary that we have no control over. No,
More than likely, that's coming. But the way we do everything in this county, if you're a first deputy, if you're a second deputy, they're all tied together. So this is no different than a probation head, in my opinion. Because of the amount, honestly, she's doing more work. So that's right. Everything we do in this county is tied together, guys. I've disagreed with it for 8 years, but everything we do in this county is tied together. And we can't deviate just now, especially when you have a female that's doing more work in this area. I'm seeing it every week, every month, she's sending emails on the list of people that she's got. And it's extraordinary. Nobody in this room is going to want to do it, I can tell you that. So my motion's on the floor that we adjust the salary to the appropriate level.
any discussion?
Is there a question on the motion?
How many years does she?
I think she goes up to 3, but I don't have.
I think it's 3 as well.
Say that again.
I think it's 3 as well.
3, what do you mean? I didn't catch it.
3 years of service.
Yeah, it'd be a 3 years of service.
You want to hear my question?
So I'm just wondering, like, you know, it said, there's a note in here, it says of 2 years' experience, the salary is like 42,240.
Right?
And the
And
salary ordinance is 42,243 for some odd difference in,
it's rounding.
right. So was the 2 years, was that based on the 2020 minimum schedule?
Mhm.
That's where that 42,240.
Yes,
And so then we went through budget, for whatever reason, we just didn't either look at that or forgot that it was supposed to be, or did it
whatever.
on purpose. I don't remember. But I mean, that's exactly the 48,628 is what's on the sheet
Right.
for 3 years' experience for a probation officer.
Right.
And if that's what that position is, it's,
I'm just saying, I probably would be as adamant if I don't have firsthand knowledge of the amount of work that she's.
that's why it's good that you're sitting there too.
Which is why we're on these committees.
Right.
So that's my argument for it. So take it for what it's worth. We have a motion and a second. Are we all for discussion?
All in favor, say aye. Opposed?
Thank you. Now, I think I'm gonna turn it over to Judge Mead. I mean, we're both working on these things together, but I'm just gonna take over the next part here.
Do you want to go back to the
Oh, I'm sorry, we
overtime?
need to do that. That was.
Yeah, I trucked it over there.
Get your Fitbit out, let's see.
Yeah.
Will we need an additional for that also? Okay. We'll take that.
Later on,
Yeah.
Okay.
You go ahead.
No, the
I need an
salary.
additional for that salary,
yes.
right? Okay.
Judge Mead's office used 6,038 last year, and he only had 1 court reporter that really worked it. Second one started it, and now he has a 3rd court reporter. So that's why I believe 10 will be good.
Okay.
Judge Craig's office did not start paying overtime until May, and they used 5,651. So I, again, believe 10 will be good.
Thank you.
I'm pretty good at guessing.
I didn't mean we had to walk in there, it's just,
That's
I got the
okay.
numbers in there.
And Christy's gonna put that in the minutes.
I'll make the motion to advertise for $10,000 and circulate from 10,000 superior for court
position where I can make a statement at this time.
Bill, we need to get the judge back to court.
I want this audience to hear what I have to say here. This is in regard to what's happening as far as this court situation in life is concerned.
Pardon?
We have a second.
We have a second on that.
Yeah.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Thank you all.
Don't come back for months.
So, we are still waiting, are you talking about the building? Yes. Okay, so I'll just let him talk about that and I'll get back over, but we're still, at any point, we'll have those numbers, hopefully, I was hoping today, but.
I couldn't be happier with the way our judges are working, but we've got to talk about money here. You've done a good job. I'm all for you. But I've got to look as the whole county
I
with
understand.
regard to
Our
funds
hands
and
are oftentimes
what we
tied
have
by
to
things-
operate with.
Our hands are very oftentimes tied by things we have no control. And so, it's not that we go out and create these whole new departments and do these things. I mean, I think they all have good reasons why, but maybe I wouldn't have done that. But some of these things are thrust upon us and we don't have a choice. And just like we don't have a choice to pay for individuals that are criminal defendants and they don't have the means to pay for it, the county pays for it, right? Or now we have to wait to send that money back, we still, we don't have a choice. Just sometimes we provide a wrong good or bad, if we'll decide to get in. Thank you all for your.
Okay, please, counsel, I can't say Madam Auditor, so welcome, Mr. Auditor. I've already covered the pretrial services and overtime. I'll just give you guys an update on the new building where we're at. We're talking about the probation, pretrial services, and public defender's office, okay? What we want to come up with is two options. One is a remodel of the existing building, and then a green space right beside it, give you options for a new building, okay? We had the plans for the remodel done, and I talked to Dave Stallings just, I think it was Thursday last week, and I suggested for the new building, just to mirror it in AutoCAD, you can mirror your plans, and then add offices for Gary and Andy, a little bit of storage.
Keep up the good work, Judge.
Okay, I appreciate that, Bill. So he's just not quite done on the new plans, okay? So that's where we're at. And then Mary talked to Dave regarding the generator.
They got security. And, he just about got the final figures. He's worked with an electrical engineer and that, because part of the problem was having generator enough to back both our suppressant and the necessary things for security. And they're pretty sure they have that figured out 99.9%, and it's gonna be cheaper than originally thought. That's always a good thing. And he has to get some final specs on the lift because of the, elevation of the stairs. But he'll hopefully will have that, he'll have that next week.
So that's on the courthouse security part of the courthouse building. So by next month, we should be good with all the plans and ready to go. So that's really all we got.
Awesome.
So.
I don't have to give you any money. Great thought.
But this president, I think, excuse. All right, thank you.
All right, prosecutor's office? No? Are they watching?
They are.
There is a little delay possibly, so. Okay. I'm not sure. I think somebody from out there. No. Nope. Did he get provided? He didn't have it on paper.
They were going to, talk about.
Our convo.
That was it.
Brought it up last month, but told them that we couldn't do additionals
What are they
The
asking?
additional on the prosecutor's part-time help.
Yeah, they pay someone roughly 20 hours a week, $10 an hour. I thought they were gonna be here, but they're
They
on
were supposed to.
shutdown too.
It's not like they're in court, we got both judges.
Yeah, I can't tell you.
All right.
We roughly put 13,000 in
Yeah,
there,
that's what
but,
we did.
13,000?
Yeah,
yeah. But we've got all those additionals at the end, if you wanna wait till the end and do
Put
them
it with
all.
that,
Maybe they'll show up.
if you remind me of that, and then the additional for that, pretrial
Yeah.
salary as well. We'll
Okay.
take care of all that.
Okay.
I have, yeah, on the email.
That, the salaries was left for last,
that was the,
Oh. Up here. Wasn't that the?
that was,
trial?
yeah, that was the
For judge.
pre-trial, that was just the pre-trial and,
those for that.
Okay.
You should.
All right.
The appointments for 2021, a lot of the same, but a few changes. Chamber of Commerce, will be Dan Beard. Community Corrections, Derek McGraw. E911 Advisory Board, Dan Beard. Gibson County Solid Waste, Craig Flood. Safety Committee, Dan Beard. Sheriff's Pension Board, Jeremy Overton and Jay Riley. Evansville Urban Transportation System, Bill McConnell. Chamber of Commerce, ex officio, Dan Beard. Council Finance Committee, Jeremy Overton, Jay Riley, and Craig Flood. Regional Economic Development, Derek McGraw. Gibson County Development, Derek McGraw. Gibson County Redevelopment, Phil Young and Bruce McIntosh. That's it. Everybody have a chance to review the minutes from December 15th? If there are no corrections, additions, deletions, we'll approve them as written. Has everybody seen the treasurer's report for the month ending December 31st and clerks for month ending November?
Yes.
Everybody? Department reports, new faces. Matt?
Hello, council, I'm Matt Wilson coming in here. I want to report to you guys all the grant stuff I had going on. Going all the way back to 2018 flood, we applied for a FEMA grant on it. We've received $245,000 so far today. The remaining 12 to 14,000 we're still waiting on. We've almost received all that money finally. That was a 25% county match, 75% federal. Railroad crossing grant fund, grant I did last year, that was a 0% county match, 100% funded. That was for advanced warning systems. We did the RXR, stop bars, kind of on the ground. That grant was $14,465. It's done, we received money, close it out. Last year's community crossings grant, 25% county match, $1 million max. We received $1 million max, grant's done, and closed out. Community crossings 2021, it's open right now. I should submit today, we're submitting for the $1 million max on it. The Hopkins Family Park, that was a 50% county match, 50% federal, 50% match from the county came from land donation for the Hopkins family. That's gonna include a pond, aeration system, ADA fishing pier, ADA restroom, ADA mulching playground, ADA sidewalks, ADA bench pads, ADA picnic tables. That one, I'm finalizing the permits now, and we need to advertise that bid as soon as possible. So we have to have that work completed by August of this year. Last year, 2020, we submitted for federal aid projects for Bridge 74. the bridge up in Wheeling, directly beside the Wheeling Cover Bridge. It's replacing the bid, it's about it's an 80-20 match, 20% county, 80% federal. So we're looking at $400,000-ish, I don't have the exact number with me, out of the county, and 1.6 million in federal funds, is that bridge replacement. That bridge replacement is 2024, 2025. We've already started preliminary engineering on it. So, I know you guys are the money guys, so there's the grant stuff to work on. Any questions for me?
2021 community crossings, we would be in line for potentially up to $1 million again.
Correct. I do know part of that funding is based off fuel sales, and the 2020-2, they're doing 2 different floodings now. It was reduced. We did get money for Somerville, Atoka, and Owensville. And they got the amount they asked for. They never asked for $1 million max, so they got the amount they asked for. So we don't know if there's gonna be a reduced amount, but we're submitting $1 million max. So it'll be 2 months before we hear back on it. The 5 more than that is, it's not actually due to the end of January, I'm turning that down. Any other questions?
Thank you, Matt.
I want to introduce the new highway superintendent, Brant Johnson, to go over truck position. This is Brant. We'll be working together. Once I get this grant done, we're gonna spend some time together. If you have any questions for Brant, or if Brant wants to report anything?
I'm good to go, just getting my feet wet. Spent 14 years at the county, so tried to go to the other side for a little while and try something different. Found out the grass isn't always greener on the other side, so coming back on to be a superintendent now, so looking forward to it.
Your department report, Sheriff Waller?
I provided you a copy of our money that we collected last year for the whole year. There's also a copy of the jail population for December. Our jail count today is 103, includes 82 males and 21 females.
The department report, Terry?
This is basically old business. I'll just bring it to you here now. Doing this on behalf of the commissioners from the last discussion we had in December on the COVID funds. The architect submitted a bill of services that were done from September to December. The initial invoices that I brought to you in December had to do with construction that was going to happen. But this is the final bill of that service that was done by Dave Stallings and Landmark. I'm just presenting to you if you want to use COVID funds or what your intentions are with it.
That is the new building that you brought us last month.
Yes, this is the proposal of the new building that we were planning on using COVID funding for. Whether we have that, whether we do that building or not, this is his building, his services.
Are the commissioners on board with that?
Yes.
They are. What was the estimate on it, I apologize?
The estimate for the building was $450,000. We had to have some place to start. That's why David gave me that invoice as to be $450, maybe less. We don't intend for it to go over, but I had to have something to present to you guys to understand what it would be. And this is his services from the time we started December or September to December.
Did I hear second that the ambulance service was going to be involved in
That proposal, Mike, was to consolidate the ambulance service into this building that we were going to consider as a COVID storage facility. The store trailers for the health department, EMA, and EMS, and it would be a new EMS station.
That's in that 450 estimate.
Yes, yes, the ground's already here, we own it, we're ready to start, it's just that commissioners, or past commissioners are on board with it, the new commissioners are on board with it. It's just, you guys have control of this money as to whether you want to do that or not.
Just a question here, you may have an answer, you may not. We're talking about building the, as you know, the court or probation and all that. Would we not, seems like it would be cheaper if we added this building, that building, get it all in one sum instead of building and building.
Well, you're talking about a building for a court system, you're talking about a probation building, we're talking about a COVID storage building.
I mean, you can separate it out or whatever, but you're still all on the same site.
I probably won't be here when the feds come and audit you guys. But you have to have this distinguished for COVID, not for.
I'm not saying that that pays for it all, but how you can divide it out by, you know, I'm trying to say divide it like if this building's half the size of that building, that could pay for half. And the other nothing could pay for the other half. But in the grand scheme, it's gonna be a cheaper bill, it would seem like, and it may not be, that's why I was asking.
Well, I don't understand, if you're trying to say you're gonna put probation on COVID or courthouse,
What now?
are you saying you want to put the COVID storage and the probation in the same package and build one building?
Yeah, one bigger built like the size that you're.
I think that's something that you probably need to ask your local attorney and the state board of accounts, because COVID pays for COVID. They will pay for items utilized in the courthouse or in your probation department for specifics. But I don't know that they would pay for a probation building. We approach this as a COVID facility to store PPE and equipment. And that was allowable. And it became allowable under the commissioner's thing. When the state says, okay, we're giving this money all to the councils have to decide. So you guys have to decide. If you feel that that money must be used for the courthouse or probation and you want to put it together, then that's fine. But I don't have any control over that. I mean, I just can only say it's COVID. The only thing I'm presenting to the council today is this, a bill for services rendered by Landmark and Dave Stallings to propose this bill.
And at the end of that, we will have a solid estimate and know, I just don't want to go too far down the road.
We already have that, Jeremy. It's that we've got the plans for the building, we already have the cost factor and everything. I needed to have something to show the council and the commissioners, this is what it's gonna be. Not gonna be any more, but it's gonna be less. The cost of freight, materials and everything from September to December has changed. It will change this next year. You guys wanna see something up front, that's all we did.
So is there new COVID money available for this? That
Not
will be
just
reimbursed?
not just
Or this is coming out of the money we've already been reimbursed?
Right.
And which was just about drained?
Absolutely.
Okay. I mean, I like the concept of the idea, but at 450,000, I just don't see how.
I'm not asking for the 450. You guys can take money from someplace else if you want to do this thing. I'm just asking you to pay this bill.
I understand, I'm just trying to figure out, I don't want to go too far down the road and have any more bills for a project that's dead in the water if it is.
The health department and whoever's going to be coming to you, whatever departments will be asking, because you now have control of this money, so you just have to utilize it as best you can. Way I look at it.
So I'm just trying to remember lots happened and all that. So there is a location that this could be placed on.
Yes,
It's county owned
yes.
and.
Contractor's already been there, set up the site to look at it for this building and everything.
And as far as because of the ambulance service and COVID related, it's not an issue with including that office and storage for an ambulance.
Who more would you want to put in there than the?
I understand it, I'm just talking out loud.
Yeah. No. No, we're not the only county that has made this approach and proposal when this came about. There are 3 other counties that have already started construction in doing this. Their monies were worked out differently with townships and whatever.
And I can't remember, are we under contract to keep the ambulance at the hospital for a period of time?
It's annual.
It's an annual commitment. I guess I'd make a motion that we pay the architect's fee, but like Jeremy said, you know, we need to, as a council, be thinking about, before they proceed any further on that and incurring more expense, we need to kind of decide what the intentions are as to how to best utilize that CARES Act money. It could be an opportunity to fix an issue that we've talked about for many, many years as far as the ambulance station and all that. My motion today is that we pay the architect's fee and kind of not incurring more expense at this time until, as a council, we decide.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second, to pay Landmark Design and Engineering, $2,320 for professional engineer and architectural designer fees for preliminary concept plan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Jeremy,
Yes.
I went downstairs. Michael's in court and April is on a conference call.
Okay.
And I think what they were, I mean, April talked to me about this before, about filling their part-time position.
Right,
I
we
think
just
that's
don't
what they
know.
were- I think that's what they were filming for.
And they were, we just don't know for sure the amount, and we don't know if they were going to suggest paying that from somewhere else. I kind of thought April mentioned paying it from one of their other funds, but I might be wrong on
You
that.
know, and I don't know.
Yeah.
That, you know, she's actually on conference call from home. Because, you know, they're on a split schedule down there, and Michael's in court.
But 13,000 would get you $10 an hour, 20 hours a week for someone for 52 weeks.
Where do you want to
We can pay that out of CARES money, can't we?
Pardon me?
It
Yeah,
has to be paid out of CARES money, that's what it'd be out of the CARES fund.
But you have to do an additional appropriation for it out of general, okay? And so we'll just add that, and then do you want Terry to submit a claim for it from his department? We'll put the money, because it'll have to go into a department,
Either Terry or the commissioners.
okay,
You know, whatever you.
okay.
Thanks. Thank you, Judge. All right. Any other department reports?
Okay, first of all, my name's David Pond. I've been with the ambulance service here in this county for 38 years. I know some of you don't know me, some of you definitely do know me. Anyway, I've just recently been appointed to being the director here. So you'll have to forgive me, I'm still catching up on everything that's going on here. But I've got an end of the month report for you guys.
Welcome aboard, David.
Well, thank you, Bill. By the way, is it okay to call you guys by your first, I'm a first name kind of guy. Is that okay? Okay.
We're not too formal here.
Well, I can call you, Councilman Beard or, but. I'll pass this, Okay, basically to go over the, end of the month report. We had 430 runs, as of in December. Total year to date billed was $2,763,857.60. Total year to date collected is, $1,250,414.69. The amount collected, of course, percentage was about 45.24%. Now, to let you know too, last year,
I guess as of January, they did not have a collection agency to try to collect, bills that wasn't paid. We brought it up with county commissioners as of this last meeting about a collection agency to take that over and start trying to collect money that we don't have. As you can see, how much we've billed and how much we've collected, there's still quite a bit outstanding there. Now, there's some of it that was write-offs and stuff, but there's a good portion of it still that, we could try to get. And we're waiting, they tabled it until this next meeting. So we'll know something a little more about a collection agency at that point. As far as new accounts, we billed $306,054.40. We collected out of that $132,459.77. Write-off amounts was $247.72. And then the insurance adjustments was $52,170.09. Any questions?
David, I didn't see that he sent a report.
Okay.
But I think last year, the proceeds, so to speak, was probably what was taken in December. It will put a little over $1 million a year.
Right.
That's a little bit more than we used to, but not a great lot of money that Jim had been depositing with the auditor. And that $1 million comes in really handy, and let me assure you, that $1 million, hopefully, not for the idea that, we aren't sorry for those that have to use the service.
Yeah. But
at the same time, that $1 million every year really comes in handy. And, but the emergency service has to have money to operate with. Everybody understands that.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I just got a question on I know there's write-offs, and there's insurance adjustments. The difference, the $1.5 million that was billed from collections, how much of that should have went to collections? Do you know roughly?
No, I don't. I'm sorry. I can try to find out. Like I said, I've only been in this job basically a week, and I'm catching up with a lot of things, and I'm not, I'm sorry I can't answer your question. I honestly don't know.
And maybe see what exactly was involved with the collection. I mean, if it's just a lawyer sending a letter,
Yeah, see, they had well,
Lisa Moody did
you
it.
remember who it was? It was, one of the local lawyers that was doing it for, she was the one that was doing it, but then she gave that up. So, I had some papers, I'm sorry, I don't have them with me now, that I presented to the council on the agency we was with, and what their, amount that they would be taking and stuff. And it was like 20% on the regular collection agency, or collect on regular collections. If it had to go to a lawyer, it had to go to a lawyer for like 50%. So, just a straight collection agency, I have a feeling it would probably be cheaper. I don't know. Again, I wish I could give you more definitive answers. I just don't know. I have not had time to really research this myself. I'm just being, trying to pass on the information I have. So, I can check on that and see. I don't know if we can get a lawyer to do it.
We have been approached by a few different services that had, value propositions of how much they could get for us. And I have a contact for you that I'll share with you, a gentleman that has a background in it and has made some suggestions to me in the past. For you to talk with as well.
Yeah, I'd like to, I don't know how much we're talking, but, I know it's be several $1,000s a year. I don't want to say $100,000 a year, because I don't know. But, again, I'm still getting my feet wet here. But I know it's quite a bit of money that we could bring in extra if we could get somebody to be able to collect it. So, anyway, and by the way, anytime you guys have questions, want to talk to me, my door is always open to you, okay? feel free to come in and talk to me, ask me questions, because whether it's related to budget or medical. Okay? One of the reasons I wanted to talk to you also this morning was, I know our part-time billing clerk, as far as the budget, I guess they put into the budget last year for $16,000 for a part-time billing clerk. Anyway, it was cut out to where we had money for the part-time billing clerk. Now, try to put this in perspective. We have one full-time office worker. And just recently, within the last week and a half, she's had illness in the family. She's not been able to be there Sunday. Well, you know, heaven forbid she would get injured or sick, but we only have one full-time employee there. And as you can see, we're probably bringing in, you know, around $100,000 every month. If we don't have anybody in there to take care of this money, and I know you guys depend on this money. And, you know, I would like to think that, you know, it's kind of an insurance policy. If we have somebody in there part-time that knows the job, and the girl that we have in there right now, she does know the job. She went to school for billing. She has a degree in that, and she's been trained within the office. To get somebody just to come in there and know ambulance code billing is more difficult. And so anyway, I'd like to, I think it's maybe been asked you guys before about reconsidering putting money back into the part-time billing clerk, because right now, if something was to happen to her, the full-time that we've got, we're not going to be bringing any money in. And like I said, this is a kind of cheap insurance policy, the way I look at it, to try to get this covered so we continue to be able to bring in that amount of money every month.
David, one thing, don't be obligating or spending any large amounts of money unless you check with the finance committee first this year.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
Okay.
Please.
Okay.
The budget is there, but there's not always money to back it up.
Right. Okay. So you got any questions on this? I mean, because it's something I am really concerned about, because like I said, she had an illness in her family, and, you know, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but, you know, I'm just afraid if something was to happen. You know, most officers have some sort of backup. She's our only backup we've got.
Is this a position we took out of budget to have on that part-time?
We did. We talked about if it was put back in, that there was money in the part-time for paramedics that we could transfer. And then if we needed it later on, ask for an additional.
Please stand closer.
Is that what we talked about? And we worked it up based on what she's making now, $13,728 for the year, based on the.
And that's in the, we can move that right now for the EMT.
Yeah, and if we need money later on, we can ask for an additional, but right now, there's money there.
I can't remember the budget time whenever, because we kind of took an approach across the board as far as part-time, overtime, trying to rein that in, and we made the statement, but by doing this, we know that there will be cases that will come up that we'll have to rethink that decision. I can't remember, it really doesn't matter. Did he think that they could do without it and was willing to try? I don't remember. No, I couldn't find anything in my notes.
I think that it was one that you just kept, I mean,
We just, because
you
of
stayed the
across
line.
the board, yeah.
Yes.
And we didn't want to do this, and then the next budget, say we're gonna. do
Right, you
that.
stayed the line.
And the decision was, is that we know that those cases are gonna come up, they can come in, present their case, and then we'll. Yeah, with $1,250,000 that's brought in as far as to our finances and all that, it's important that occurs on a monthly basis. So I would like to request the transfer. Is that in series?
It's an 01 series and we have it on the transfer list.
So, I mean, transfer from, overtime, paramedics.
We don't even need a motion if it's in the series, then it's on the transfer list for this afternoon.
It's
But this morning, I,
part-time to the part-time clerk.
Okay, so that, if we need a motion, I'll make that motion that it.
it's on that list that we're gonna do here in a little bit.
Right, it's on the list.
And I would ask if we do move that money and we need money down the road, will you guys entertain me coming back and asking if we need money as far as if we run out of it, we're moving it from
You
one?
always come back and ask.
Worst you can say is no, right? That's why I was always told, worst you can say is no. Okay. Do you guys have anything else for me?
You're, Michelle, back to work?
I'm sorry?
You're off the worker.
Yeah, she just got back today, and, so she's, like I said, she has some illness in her family, and she was off a few days. And, luckily, still have the one girl still there, but, you know.
She has vacation too, right?
I'm sorry?
How many weeks vacation does she?
I'm not sure, I haven't got into it, but I'd say she's probably got at least 3 weeks vacation, so, you know, during that time, nothing's happening either. And, but like I said, my biggest concern was if anything happened, we should be, you know, not bringing any money in for some time, so. You guys have any other questions?
Thank you.
Well, thank you for your time. And like I said, anytime you guys need to speak to me or anything, my door's open.
Any other problem for us?
Sorry, well, we'll move on to old.
Sorry,
Go
Diane had a conference call, so she couldn't be here.
Okay.
So, the numbers for December for the COVID cases in Gibson County was 949. So far today, we have 356 in January. New Year's Eve kind of hurt us a lot. And, hopefully, since the vaccines are coming out and that's all getting distributed, that, you know, that'll help. We start with our vaccine clinic at the fairgrounds tomorrow from 9 to 7, and that's for 88 plus or first responders. The office is helping the people that cannot get on the internet or don't have internet at 80 plus, and we're making those appointments, so we have a full day already on Wednesday. And I think we kind of filled it up like within the first 2 hours that it opened up to the public. And then on Friday, we're doing 4 to 7, and that's also booked already. So all of the health department will be out at the vaccine site on Wednesday and Friday, because it's going to take all 5 of us to make this happen. And we're pulling the people that's doing the testing site with the clerical and the nurses out there to help us also. Because it's all the same program, so we figure the clerical will be able to help us register. So we're going to get 2 clerical employees to 1 nurse. So, and then we've also asked, or we submitted a grant for $20,000 for the staffing and overtime for the vaccine clinic. So that should be coming anytime soon, and I'm not sure if it's showed anything yet.
I haven't seen it yet.
No. So
So you may have said it, I just went through, so how many will be vaccinated each day then?
we have 200 doses right now. So just whenever that goes, we have them double booked from 9 to 7 all day long. So however much, you know, people we can get through. And then if we have any leftovers, you know, then that will be used on Friday. And then we'll have to wait for the next shipment to come in, but we're hoping that's going to be every week now that it's not started.
And which vaccine is our county? Which
Moderna.
vaccine? Moderna?
Mhm. Yeah. I know we had the additional appropriations is at the end, but we're calling all the positives in our county too, plus helping the 80-year-olds, so I kind of need to get back to the office. Can I do mine right now?
Sure.
So we're asking for 32,000 COVID assistance. The commissioners has approved for the part-time at the courthouse to continue, and we had 15,000 left over from 2020. So we're hoping we can use that for the part-time people and anything that we can use for COVID for the staff.
So that would come out of,
Well, you can take it out of the 1159, but you can also take that out of CARES.
Right.
If it's strictly used for COVID assistance.
And it will be,
It
it'll
will
be
be.
for staffing of it.
Here's money.
What was the dollar amount again?
Sorry.
32,000.
Right, yeah.
32.
Yes.
We,
32,000 out of CARES.
it's
I'll
a
make
county.
motion, I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 4-0.
So just so it's brought out in public and all that, as far as like these clinics where you're gonna give the vaccinations and all that.
Yes.
Both parents of mine are 80+ years old, they called in. So it's important that they continue to call. I know it's kind of hard for them to get through, but they're actually getting their vaccinations through Vandenberg. So is it like a statewide program? I don't understand everything.
Yeah, well, we can go through, any vaccine clinic in Indiana, so we can go through and get the appointments if they need help.
Okay.
So because we didn't have the openings at the very beginning, because we had to ask for extra slots.
Okay.
With the state, and that just happened yesterday. So anybody that we called and said, you know, they said, can we be put on a list or can you help us? We told them at that point in time that we could help them with any county.
Okay.
And, so that's how we're handling
So
that.
more than likely.
And if they don't want to go to a different county, then we have a written list at work that we're going through right now and trying to get everybody in, for instance.
So it's just important that people know that, you know, you may get put to Vandenberg County or Ward County.
If
but
they
you're-
don't want to take
they
the
don't
chance
wanna
of waiting and finding, you know, maybe 3 or 4 weeks down the road
Right.
instead of right away.
You know, appreciate what all you're doing. I'm sure you're, got a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Judy, I have a question for you. Just with the statement you made clarified in my mind. You had said you had the money from last year to pay this amount. Was that you could encumber?
You can't encumber it.
Okay.
Too late.
Well, it has to be it has to be worked in 2020 to encumber it.
Gotcha.
So they had asked for an additional and then got CARES money. So they had 15,000 at the end. So, you know, they had asked for the money previously,
Gotcha.
but it just wasn't worked to encumber.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Next up on old business was the approval of payments on the Donovan Con invoice for the amount of $78,266.15. That's correct, it doesn't advertise.
And this is for,
I don't think we did.
this is part of their edit fund, for the 2021 edit fund. And what's that fund balance that they did for APC?
105,000.
I think they just moved change their budget. But how it works, not work.
You watch that?
I think they would have to change it in the commissioners, edit budget.
It's part of the edit budget. It's a line within the edit.
Pretty sure it is.
Mhm.
So-
Yeah, it is.
Well, okay, it just says like that. So I want to double check.
We don't have to make a move. In edit.
So I mean, it would be their call, because we approved the budget,
And there's a line.
and there's a line in the edit for 105,000. So it's just, they can spend it if it's in that budget, so.
It's good.
So the commissioners would be able to act on that at their next meeting.
It's in their claims, right?
She just needs to submit a claim for it and get it paid.
Right.
Check.
All right, courthouse security. Is under the additional appropriations also that we already talked about.
That's the Cuba building.
Yes.
So I got that email, Christie, about you want to do all these at once at the end.
It's up to you guys. It's a suggestion.
I like it.
Any other conversation about that?
Yeah.
Okay. New business? Appointment of a representative for Fort Branch, Johnson Township. I apologize, I
That's
skipped right over that. Who is it?
Just- is Chris Wallace, and I just talked to
Oh, wonderful.
Jay about,
Okay, he took care of
so,
it.
well, we're considering taking care of it, I'll just sign on and send it.
Wonderful, okay. All right, transfer of monies, we have these transfer requests. So is the point of this, would you like to read through the whole thing, just to approve it?
So we will attach this to the minutes.
Okay,
I think it's up to you guys how you want to do it. If you want to do it line by line, or if you want to do it by department, or if you want to do it as the whole page. I'm not sure.
I think it's.
how do you feel about by department? I think we started by department. Okay. And then if there's anything that we need to separate out, we're going to discuss it at that time. The first transfer is from Community Corrections to complete 2020. That's $192 transfer. Any
So-
discussions on that? All, motion? Second?
Second.
Second.
Is the committee, finance committee, supporting this? If so, I vote yes.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Public defenders, 2020, from miscellaneous conflict attorney to health insurance in the amount of $465.15.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. EMS, we have 3 different transfers from paramedics to AEMTs, from paramedics to overtime paramedics, and from full-time paramedics to full-time AD basic EMTs, in the amount of $16,000, $10,000, and $7,400.
Let's still be going for too much overtime here.
So moved.
We're gonna need that for everything else.
These are end of the
We
year
have a
transfers.
motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Highway Department, complete 2020, transfer from heavy equipment to sign man runner, and transfer from overtime to tire service and grease, in the amount of $2,875.80.
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Superior Court, preparation to complete all ACRs in 2021. Assistant court reporter to court reporter in the amount of $1,748.33. And then from assistant court reporter to assistant court reporter, line 12. I'm glad that's written down. $577.64.
So moved.
All in favor, yep, you got it. Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Jail preparation to combine all corrections officers in 2021. What does that mean?
You guys asked me to do that. You want to pay all corrections officer rather than several lines.
Yeah.
You wanted everything paid
Separate
from
lines
one.
of line.
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
We're doing that the whole department.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Then the sheriff, just combine captain, sergeants, and patrol officers. We have, transfer from one of the captain lines into another one, $697.40, $697.40, $697.40, $697.40, $697.40, $566.12, and $687.80.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So by doing that, whenever we see a budget for 2022, all the corrections officers will be on one line, so if there's 16 of them, all 16 will be in that one line instead of having to go through.
It's gonna look like our EMS list.
Yes, next
So many
month,
paramedics, so many EMTs.
next month, your salary schedule will have one line, total number.
Correct.
One line, total number.
Good, thank you.
Yeah.
So I guess if we're gonna continue doing that format to help the presenter, if we could have a total by, since we'll do it by department, that would be.
Okay.
This format is excellent and all that, just to take it a step further would be to have a total, so Jeremy didn't have to add on the fly.
Sure.
We.
Even though it's my table, were you? Were you at the other part? I was with you, I was with you.
Pretty good. I knew you back.
Okay.
Next up, out of series transfer request from Park Monitor Maintenance from Park Monitor Maintenance to medical supplies in the amount of $1,708.23. And from durable equipment and diesel fuel for $2,258.75.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next up, additional appropriations, request to advertise.
Pretrial services advertising should, if my math is correct, $6,385 to get that salary correct.
We put 6,500 if that's okay.
Fine with me.
And then what I have done is I have added all the general funds together. So, we've got 20,000 for the courts, plus the 6,500. The landmark bill, $2,320, plus the health department. We'll mark out health department and make that general up there. That's 32,000. So you've got a total general fund transfer of $60,820.
I will make a motion on that. For advertising.
I'll second. Any discussion? All in favor of advertising, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next up, I need to do Keene Building still.
Yes.
Keene Building, in the amount, an additional amount of $605,000 is requested. There's $2.093 million in there.
This is for courthouse security.
That's for courthouse.
This has not been advertised, is that correct?
I thought we changed, didn't we change?
You talked about it, but we couldn't advertise it.
Okay, I'll make the motion now.
But I thought we changed that now.
Security, courthouse security. No, it got up to 605.
The generator.
It was lower, it got up to 605.
You said that number would be less because of
Fingers crossed, it should be
Generator.
less. Uh-huh.
up to, okay.
I made the motion.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Yeah, long overdue. 4D office, the fund has $27,000 in it, and they're asking for.
April's not here.
That's the part-time.
Yeah, let's put it off till next month, I guess. She
Okay.
wasn't here.
Thank you for. Health department, do we go with
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
Clerk's perpetuation fund has cash value of $44,487,
Okay,
and they're
Jeremy,
asking for 13,000 additional.
they're here to tell you about this.
Great.
Jim is asking that you let him use 13,000 of it for a part-time person that would be scanning all the files or records. That's the only thing that it can be used for, is scanning up the records. He checked with the State Board of Accounts, and they approved him to do that. your approval to use it for that. And it would be for one part-time person for the whole year, for 20 hours a week.
He texted me and said he did talk to State Board of Accounts and that he did get approval from them to pay for someone to scan from there.
Does that 13,000 cover their taxes and everything? Or Social Security or what?
No, I didn't even think about that.
I'm sure there will be enough
Yeah.
left in the commissioner's line to always have some wiggle room there, but.
Yeah, but we probably want to pay it from there.
Oh, okay.
So let me figure it up real quick. So make it 14.
We have a motion to advertise the 14,000 for part-time.
Second.
We have a motion from Stillwater, second from Beer. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Next up, the auditors ineligible, Fund 1216, they're asking for an additional $5,000. There's 45,000, roughly 46,000 in that account.
So moved. Second.
Second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anything else on there before we go to the next item? Mr. Reed's here, Elliott Soul.
Yeah, thank you all for your time this morning. I'll try to make it really quick for us. We had a presentation and everything ready. But we're gonna ask that we, be tabled, to give us time to work. I had a nice time to speak with Jason back in the back while we were waiting as well, but to give us time to work with some of the newly elected officials that have been put in place. And as well as to some clarity here, this is a totally separate farm now, new ERA and everything. So it should be, and we'll always refer to it as the Gibson Solar Project. So as we progress forward, because the Elliott's already been taken care of and put together there, and we've got to wait on a few other permits and some ordinances, things to work through. But we're gonna also, and I've sent each of you, I don't know if it all came through your emails, the copy of the declaration and resolution as we look at it in the ERA footprint. But what we're wanting to also make sure that you're aware of is the professional services that we've got in place for you all to use as a council. From Ice Miller, Baker Tilly, and we're going to plan on working with Baker Tilly to have a nice report. And we'd like to be on the February's agenda to be able to make this presentation to show the facts, figures, tax bases, assessed values, some of the recommendations, but to also let you guys know that they're at your disposal to use. So it doesn't look like that we're putting the report together and everything. But with the Elliott project, we had a nice way, it's kind of cohesive enough to just reach out to one or two of you. It was mainly the finance committee. I don't know if we want to look at doing that for the future, but to kind of help, instead of having to reach out to everybody or wait till the next meeting, to be able to facilitate our discussions as we go along with Ice Miller and with Baker Tilly, along with making the contacts with just a few of you all. I know everybody's busy outside of our meetings and everything, but that is feasible or at least acceptable. And we don't have to agree on that today, but just that's our request, that in the future that we be able to maybe be able to talk with just one or two of you to help, and you have the phone calls with Ice Miller and them as well. But to make sure that we know that as we see it on the agenda as we move forward, that it will be the Gibson Solar Project, totally separate, new, as we look forward to the abilities to work with the local just the commissioners and council on coming together with, what's best is our assessed value and tax base. So that's all.
You're talking about professional help. We belong to the Association of Counties, the state of Indiana. And a telephone call to them, I'm not trying to put any attorneys out of business or anything else. But we pay so much under that association every year. And they are immediately available, and normally they don't have to take time to look things up. You want me to give you that telephone number?
Well, yeah, I'll be happy to take it, but this is also, I'm going to fail to mention that just like with the Elliott project, Jeremy, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if you all have received it, but we're going to cover X dollars of these, for all your professional advice and all that. This isn't something the county is going to be out, but the solar project is going to pick up these legal fees, up to a point as you need it. And we also have built in there, if you so choose, to use a local attorney to have just at your beck and call to reach out real quick on top of a nice note.
Well, the commissioners, they have an association that they belong to.
Bill,
And so
Bill.
this professional help is available there.
Bill,
And we're paying dues every year for this service.
Sure.
So why don't we utilize
You just
what
offered it,
we're
Bill.
paying for already?
Right.
All it is a.
Thank you, Bill.
telephone call.
Bill, they're covering our expenses. Tenasca has given us a stipend to cover it, so it's not costing the county anything. I mean, it's financial planning and things that we're not gonna get from the association.
I just want to clarify something that was in Andrea.
Well,
Sure.
Right.
There's no decisions made in these meetings, or no votes or anything.
To that point,
Oh, no, yeah.
no, but to that point on meetings of the finance committee, those are open meetings, and you should have scheduled a notification like council meetings.
Well, we don't wanna, overlook anything.
I don't know when the last time we had one done.
I know, but when you do, they are supposed to be.
They don't, like I say, they don't have to look things up.
Sure, 3 members can
To the
attend,
legislature all the time,
It's
to
not-
know what's going on.
can 3 members attend a meeting with Tenasca?
And I don't think we ever even had that, because of conflict of scheduling and everything. I think there was no more than 2 maybe.
If you say it's the finance committee,
Oh, yeah.
that's a committee of your council.
No, that's a good point. That's why we're just looking
If you wanna
for,
talk to Jeremy, or
Yeah.
you wanna call that guy,
Yeah.
and then you wanna call that guy, but if you wanna sit down and talk to the 3 of them, then
Right.
that's a meeting.
that's a good point to
For-
have on that. That's why I just used that as in reference to the last time, because your finance committee usually has the workings of the money, and that's really quick one for Baker Tilly and like Snowball to, rather than, yeah, I'm not seeing like, if you guys want to even, Dan, Mike, or anybody on that to be, that's just what we're looking for in the future to help, facilitate things along and keep it going, through the in between. But again, we'll have a report from Baker Tilly for, if we could just be on the February's agenda, and then we'll be listed as the Gibson Solar Project.
I'll make a motion to table today.
Second? All in favor, say aye.
Thank you all.
And then Byron.
Right here.
Byron's right there, how I missed you. Byron Sanders, we've been talking to since, when did we meet in February?
Probably before that.
Before that, we didn't have masks on when I first met you, I know that, so. Anyway, Byron has worked on, well, he'll give you his, some of his resume and experience, I'm sure, but he has some, the commissioners are considering moving forward with Byron for redesign services to be able to hurry that process, not hurry that process, but expedite that process and come up with a creative solution for the jail. And he's here today to talk with us and show us his proposal.
Okay, yes, I'm Byron Sanders, and I've been engaged with the county since literally October of 2019. I was the owner's representative for the Posey County Jail that was just completed a couple years ago. I've been working with Vanderbilt County Jail, Sheriff Wedding, Dave Rector, on their project. I've been working with them since 2017, when they got their first letter of non-compliance from the state. They've been in non-compliance for 3 years now, and we've tried to, as you're required to do, get an action plan and follow up, and we're just now to the point where we may have a concept that's going to be approved. I worked with Chad Lessinger of Du Bois County Design Services for their jail. And I worked before that. For 36 years, I was a project manager for Bristol Myers Squibb. So I have a resume of project work, but I'm not here to sell myself on that so much as the fact that because I had finished the project in Posey and was very good friends with the county, the council, and the commissioners, and the sheriff, as you were getting off the ground, Sheriff Holt was engaged to ask me a few questions, and he just said, last Byron. I mean, I understood the cost, understood the schedule, understood what went into it, and so I've been kind of, I guess, working in collaboration with your group and just giving you some thoughts, advice, my knowledge, historical data, what jails cost and what can be overcost sometimes that are maybe not necessarily necessary to the operation. So I've been working with your group for some time and kind of followed the trail as you guys have moved. And as you've gotten to this point of looking to get back on track and get a great design firm and a good design that meets a budget. And I've been talking, and Warren Fleetwood, for example, has said, well, could you put a proposal together to kind of help us through? And I'm not 100% sure of the timeline, but it's close, 6 weeks to get a new design firm. And so I've been thinking about it, and my basic fee is $75 an hour. And I work, on a basis of submitting my timesheets. Here's what I did, and here's what you got for the value. And I'm all about, don't use me on a project if I can't help with, if I don't provide value. I'm not here for any reason than to help that happen. And hopefully what you pay me gets maybe paid back to you in double in savings and good opportunities and good decisions. And just to show you, I've looked at a little bit, if I would do the pre-design services and selection, one thing I would want to do, and I've read both of your needs analysis report that were prepared. You already paid for a lot of that once. So I like to go through and glean all that information and not hire another design firm to come in and redo information. There's some valid data that we just need to make sure that's calibrated right. We all agree to it. Utilize that data, and then we'll go out and we will select maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 viable firms that have done jail projects, jail experts, so to speak. And we'll invite them to give us their qualifications. We'll have some criteria, like, for example, one of my first questions will be, what's the last 3 projects you've done, and what was the cost per bed and per square foot? There's some right good questions you can ask that really separate who you want to work with. And then we'll select some finalists, maybe 2, 3. Let them come in and make a presentation. Show us that you understand the scope. Show us that you have some conceptual ideas. And I've done this so many times. There's a lot of quote unquote free work you get when you're doing the invitation for design. I mean, you can literally say, every which one of you 3 design firms want to come in and show us your concept. We can get concept developed, concept ideas, just for how traffic's going to flow, how we're going to use it. And I'm going to be very objective in my approach, but I've seen some of your needs analysis. I don't feel that the current existing site is fully vetted. This is one of my initial opinions. And we need to make sure every option is turned over, every good idea and bad idea is looked at. You don't know the best idea until you look at several of them. But move this quickly, get this new firm on board within 6 weeks, start pre-design services and so on and so forth. But all I'm looking to do is help you get that design firm selected and hopefully if I provide value through that process. The next steps, I can help you with that too. We'll go step by step. But I'm just here to try to introduce myself. I've submitted a proposal to Warren. I copied your attorney, and I sent just a copy to Jeremy and I don't know how I got this published photograph distributed. I just did that yesterday morning.
I have not shared it yet.
That's fine. I can resend it out and clean it up or add to or take away if you want to.
You have $75 in a scope of not more than 6 weeks.
Yeah, and I would think I'm just going to help do that. I don't plan to work 40 hours a week. Not that I would not give you that much time if necessary, but I think if I spend 4 days a week, that would be probably 32 hours a week times 6 weeks, probably around $13,000. Worst case, but it would be time and material. I'm not going to bill you the third. I mean, if I can get it done in $10,000 worth of time, or if I can just tell you right now the answer, and I'll say, hey, I'll give you 1 hour. But I'm
I'd
really
rather want it today. I need to advertise out of the jail, but.
I think we should advise you now,
Sure.
we do
Can we
not
stipulate
sign
that money's
contracts.
only
You have to sign. This has to start with the administrative.
Yes.
The commissioners, and then the commissioners bring it to us for financing.
They have to.
And
Totally understand.
Consideration.
I'm gonna make a motion that we advertise out of the jail tax fund, $13,000 for
We do not sign any contract.
pre-designed services.
So,
I totally
Commissioner
agree.
wants to sign, Byron.
Bill, we wanted to get the ball rolling with the funding so that, and we're pursuing this in the right order.
Yeah.
This time compared to what we've done in the past, that Byron comes talks with us, we determine if that's something that we feel like is appropriate to fund, we fund it, and then the commissioners can move forward with any kind of contract. So,
We're actually doing it in the right order, Bill.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. I just want to answer questions and share anything you do.
I second. We have a motion and a second to advertise, is it 13?
$13,000 out of the jail tax fund
For
pre-designed services for fire jail.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Byron.
I'll get working on it right away, and I'll
Look forward to getting this
give
moving.
you, I don't know the whole limit of communication, but who do I communicate? You tell me, I'll make sure I do that communications. And then if you want to distribute to the right people, I don't over communicate.
That's fine with me.
Okay, I'll make sure you guys do. Okay.
I just had one question for you.
Yes, so sure.
Since you know everything that's going on here.
Yeah.
You feel we're still on track to getting done by the deadline.
That's one thing I need to understand. I promise you, I shouldn't even say this, I don't let a project go over budget, over schedule. Base myself on that. I don't know what your schedule is.
Well, we're allowed to get variances from the court, and we'll have to report to the court. And I think we're allowed.
And I've done that.
Byron has actually submitted a template and a copy of the letter that, I can't remember what you call it, response letter.
Yeah, it was an action plan. I've been working, Vanderbilt County has been non-compliant since 2017, and I've worked with the attorney that they've hired to keep it going. I will help draft a letter that your attorney, I think you have a separate attorney, to show them our action plan and even give them some dialogue to say, hey, you've done due diligence up to this point, but we will expedite it. I think we can get this done in 2.5 years. I don't know what your schedule or not, but I love to expedite the design. It'll take, I built a 200-bed jail in Posey County in a year.
You have till January of 2023 to be moved
That's your term or something, or is that really a deadline?
in. That is the deadline by the federal judge.
Okay,
As of now.
what was that again? I'm sorry.
January of 2023.
If they see that we're moving.
Yeah. And they said we're gonna be allowed to continue.
Year and 11 months.
Right now, that's the deadline, but we're gonna get it.
2 years is doable.
I'm just telling you what they.
Yeah, I got you. I want to know every bit of the information. I'll move towards that.
Are we gonna fund any money to continue with Jimmy's salary? Just this project, since he's so better in it, or what are we doing?
I think the process can get there if we need them for any need to go there.
I mean, he's been here from day one with it, so.
Right.
We'll start from scratch on that.
Attorney Spindler, revisit, yeah, to start from scratch, I think it would probably be best. But I know the commissioners, according to talking to Warren, I think they're gonna revisit our attorney setup. We had, our attorney representing the CCACLU was appointed by our liability insurance company. They're going to be, I think, looking into that and potential other options for, going forward with that response. But for starters, they're going to have to work with Byron to draft an updated schedule and tell them where we are and what we've had happen with the changeover from the commissioners and structure point. So, yeah, if at any point in time we have to get on there, I think we'd have to engage.
I think he has to report at the end of this
Jim
month.
again.
Yeah, I'm gonna work on it right away. I've got templates of what we've done best. I think you got a good stance with COVID and everything you got going on. I don't think you'll have any pushback, especially if you got,
We have
put some teeth in our action plan now.
Some big money on that.
In your budget.
There's a line in the auditor's budget if you're comfortable.
I just, like I said, I don't wanna start from scratch. Jim's been in on this for 2 years now, so. And attorneys, it'll take forever to catch up on the legal side.
Great, there's some money in the auditor's budget.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Jerry.
There's not lots.
It's like $6,000.
Yeah, something like, that. Well, here,
When it comes to the jail project, we can always use jail tax money on that.
Well, we can do that too.
10.
Could change
Yeah.
that.
But we can do it from there or from the jail tax.
Okay.
Thanks, Byron.
Thank you.
Any other business?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.